The VHS series is now a trilogy with VHS Viral, which came out on VOD today ahead of its November 21st release date in theaters, and I checked it out for you guys. If you haven't been following the previous two VHS films, what they basically are is a bunch of anthologies in which people watch really creepy VHS tapes, and clever filmmakers can come in and make their own short film to be included in this anthology of horror. I actually enjoyed VHS 1 and 2 quite a bit and even bought them on Blu-ray. So I was actually excited to see what this new film brought to the table because it takes it in a different direction. Where the previous two films were about characters discovering VHS tapes in a house, watching them, and they were just really creepy, this one does not have that structure at all. I suppose it's more about teenagers who are trying to film viral videos, and stuff happens while they're doing that. Not only is VHS Viral the most disappointing movie I've seen all year, it's the most maddening. This film is populated with the dumbest, most idiotic characters that you cannot stand to watch more than a couple minutes, and I watched them for 77 minutes because as soon as the credits start in this movie, I checked the time and it was 77 minutes long. And I paid $12 to watch this movie. $12 for 77 minutes? Come on, but whatever, that's besides the point. Let's talk about the filmmaking in this movie. The film has a very forced message about the fact that teenagers and young people are becoming obsessed with the internet, that viral marketing campaigns and videos of horrible things happening that get tons of views is a terrible thing. I agree with all of that, but it's such a forced message, and the way the filmmakers go about trying to tell this tale is so rushed and so jumbled that the message not only becomes a gigantic blur, but the film is in conflict with itself, because there is a short film in this one that I could not stand. In fact, when it ended, I actually stood up and said, fuck this movie. I'm done with this movie. And I actually had to sit and recollect my thoughts for a while before I pressed play again, because it's one of the most maddening things I've ever seen in a movie. It's basically a bunch of skater kids who are the most annoying, rude people. They're like 16, they're doing drugs, they're carrying around guns, they go to Mexico, they light fireworks and throw them at people, and then they spend an entire 5 minutes just shooting Mexican monster people. And it was the most annoying thing I've seen in a movie all year. I don't want to spoil it for you in case you are interested in seeing this movie, but the way it ended was such a cop-out. Don't waste your time. The first two shorts are better than that. There's one about a magician and one about a parallel universe. But my problem with those is that none of it actually really relates to the central message of the film that they're trying to create. Similar to the first two films, while we get these very shorts, there are these interspliced actual stories happening in the real world that continue throughout the film. And it's an ice cream truck that's emitting some kind of signal that makes people go nuts. Is there an explanation for that? No. There's a ton of stuff that happened in the first two VHS movies that were never explained. In fact, in my original review, I said sometimes in a movie when things aren't explained, it makes it more scary, more frightening. But in this movie, it just felt like a rushed, lazy, and choppily edited excuse to make another one of these so they can have a trilogy, and it's just gonna become another Saw franchise. What happened to the inventiveness of the first two films, particularly the second one? The director of The Raid and The Raid 2 had a short in the second one. Where has this ingenuity gone? What once was a really cool idea for a franchise that was able to showcase creativity and different directors' talents has become a garbage can for the most crappy ideas I've ever seen in a found footage movie in quite some time. This film was so lazy that it even reused shots from the previous films, including images of the succubus girl from the first VHS, and at the end of the film there's images from the second film playing on the television, seemingly setting up some weird universe in which this all took place in one thing, and it doesn't explain it, but if you actually think about that, it makes no sense at all. I am very disappointed in VHS Viral. It is nowhere near as good as the previous two. It wasn't even scary. There wasn't a single moment in this movie that scared me, but there were plenty that I laughed at how terribly filmed it was. It is a horrible sequel. Definitely don't check out VHS Viral. I'm gonna give it an F. The creativity was gone. There was only a couple cool moments, and it contains some of the most maddening characters I've ever seen in a film. And it is certainly not worth the money they're charging on VOD for such a short movie. Definitely avoid this one, guys, especially if you're a fan of the first two like I am. I'm very disappointed in this. Guys, what are your thoughts on the VHS films? And if you have seen VHS Viral, let me know what you thought of it below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.